Okay, we're back. Now, what I want to put on here last, if we look at the image that we had, is that the image? This is the image. These kind of plate things, and I'm not sure if those are really plates, but what the heck, I'm going to say they're plates. So we're going to make those plate things. So minimize that. I don't know why I pushed that button. Okay, so I've got this stuff right here. I do want to change the lighting in this real quick, just because the one I'm using is pretty red. And if you want to change your lighting, all you have to do is come to the display settings, open this up, and I'm going to use cave because I like the way the colors look in the cave a little bit better. And then if you use left and right mouse button, you can move the lighting around and stuff. And this is just the preview render. Okay, so what we're going to do next, get rid of this one. What we're going to do next is going to change the model. If you change your model and you import it back into Substance, there's a lot of times it just won't work. It has to rebuild the whole thing. So, which isn't a big problem. But to do it right, there's a couple things we need to do, actually, as I think about this. But let's first talk about this. The problem with going straight into Max and just trying to figure it out here where those plates are is I'm going to inevitably be right over the top of these things. So I'm going to show you how to export just a single map for our purposes. And I was going to do the normal map, but you know what, I'll just do two. So if you go File or Control Shift E, which is export, and you'll see you've got a bunch of set things you can do inside of here. I have one called normal only, and that's the normal one. I'm going to go ahead and do a new one. So how do you do a new one? If you go to Standard Metallic, you'll see that inside Standard Metallic for the Unity 5, it's got all these different textures. That's really not what I was looking for, so we're going to pull this back up and go to something like we'll do PBR spec gloss. So we had diffuse, a spec, a gloss, a normal, height, and an emissive. Okay, so it's kind of like Max. But this is what's the PBR gloss, right? So if we come over to configuration, you'll see that there's a PBR gloss right here, and it shows you all the maps you're getting and all the things. What you could do is just start from scratch and say plus a new map, or you can just do copy, and it copies it down here, and then you can rename this. We'll call this diffuse and normal. Okay, so all you have to do if you want the diffuse and the normal is come find the normal and keep that one. You don't want the height at this point, you don't want emissive at this point, you don't want glossiness, you don't want specular, you just want the diffuse and normal, and bam, you're done. If you come back outside of here and you go where's diffuse and normal, right now it's going to be at the bottom, but then it puts it alphabetically next time you reopen it. So there I got diffuse and bottom, or normal, I'm sorry, and then I come up here, tell it where I want to send it. By the way, if you don't have this program right here, it's awesome, and ask me about it later. So I'll go to lecture images, and that's not the one I wanted. I will go to render pass, that's where we were. And I will make a folder in here, new folder, textures. Okay, open that up, say select that folder, and it's going to rename your stuff. And I have really horribly named objects. I'm a bad boy, but anyway, export. And of course there's errors. Let me see what the errors were. Let me just see if it exported. I don't mind that there's errors if I'm not going to use it. So let's go to textures and nothing rendered. Nice. Fine. I'm not going to fight with it right now, so you guys have something to look at. I'm just going to come up to my normal. Only. We'll try that again. Okay, so if we look inside that folder, this time, we'll see there's normal. We don't have a normal. I'll just use the normal as the diffuse. That'll work. All right, let's go back into Max. Open up Max. Open the material editor. I use this for quick purposes. Utilities, let me just reset material editor slots, throw this one on there, take this map and go to that folder, show up, and zero on object, and let's turn off this. So now we can see where our normals are popping. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our life super easy, and this is why I didn't do it inside of ZBrush, is because it makes it really easy if I turn this back on real quick. And I just grab these guys, and maybe it's even easier if I do this. I'm there, I'll do this, and this, oh, like that. Okay. That worked horribly. Okay, so I want this. I'm just gonna make a small one. So it's like that, and we'll make them a little different on each place. Like that. Like that. That. Hold shift, drag it out. Got a new plane. I'm going to keep it as an object for. We'll just keep it as an element. Go to the edges here. What I should do is go to ZBrush and import these in and then export it again with a higher res version. But we aren't going to do that. Okay, so I've got those. They're really thick. I'm going to go ahead and grab elements. I should have grabbed them all. No, of course not. I guess I could have just done the other way. It should have been in grab invert. I'm going to change this to all the objects. Move it in a little bit. I just want a little bit of an edge there. Okay. So now I've got my 4 plates. Now if I export this as a FBX and I send it back to where we were before, render pass, and we're going to name it low 3. And save. And save. Okay, so back to Painter. So in Painter now, if I take that texture and I bring it in, or I take that object and I replace this one, it's going to break my maps, which is not a big deal. If you don't want to start over, though, it's kind of a big deal. So what I'm going to do is grab all those and add a folder. And, of course, they don't go in there like Photoshop because that would be too easy. So I'll just drag it in here. There. And I'll name this folder melon _frame. Like that. Okay? So now I've got, and what can I call this? I should name this cracks. Okay. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to say create smart material. Just like that. And if I look inside my smart material, you'll see there's one being made right there. And there it is. It doesn't look as exciting because it's not using normals to get what you want. Okay, so now I'm going to come to mode. I'm going to, edit, go to project configuration, say select, and might as well actually save this in case something blows up on me. Save. To save. Okay. So we're going to go edit, configure, select. We're going to go to new 3, open, and say okay. And oh my gosh, everything's broken. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Okay, so cool thing is, I just made that a smart material, and it will do wonders. But before we even get that here, I'll show you what happens if I throw it on there right away. If I just throw this on there, it didn't work. What happened? Oh no. Oh, you know what else I totally spaced on? Unwrapping those. So this is stupid of me. Let me come back in here, open up this unwrap, and say open, and then grab those pieces that I have, I'll do tool, I'll do pack, and say fill holes, whatever. And it's going to be too big, but that's okay. I'm just going to scale them down and stick them in the middle. Okay? And then collapse, and then export, and overwrite the one we just did. That. Okay. Come back to Painter. In Painter, we'll say edit, project config, select this one to there. Okay. And because I threw the texture on there, it still works. Now they're just unwrapped separately, which is cool. The reason it doesn't show up very well is because I don't have any of the normal information on there yet, right? So I need to come in here and rebake those. Everything should still say the same. I don't need the ID map. Say OK. And there they come back. The only thing that I don't like about this, doing it this hacky way, is that, well, there's a couple things, but one of the things I don't like about doing it this hacky way is that you'll notice that my plates don't actually get the treatment of normals. If I had done it from ZBrush, I could do that. But I didn't, so I can't. Not this way. There's another couple tricks you can get your normal out of here, but your normal's not going to calculate this if it thinks that's part of the mesh. So, okay, I believe. So we're back to here. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, so I have that set up. Now I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to pick another color. I'm going to say those are copper plates. We're going to do smart material too, just so we have a copper worn. I'll double click on, I guess I could have done, no, copper worn works. Throw it on the whole thing. It comes across as a copper thing. But I don't want it on the whole thing. So what do? Oh no, it's broken. How do I fix it? Well, I'm going to put a mask on it like I did every other one. Black mask. And then I'm going to come over to here to Polygon Fill, and I'm going to open that up. And at this point, I'm going to pull up the 3D, 2D, because when you use Polygon Fill, it lets you fill whole islands or whatever. I just have it set to the basic, whatever polygons I touch. So if I click a polygon here, it's going to fill it with a mask being white at this point. If I set it to Mesh Fill, if I click on that, it's not going to work. But if I set it to this one, it'll be islands, and I just touch them. Click. And click. All right. So now my plates are there. Go back to 3D only. We'll get out of this mode, back to paint. And now I just got to scuff them up because obviously they're too pretty. So there's a few things more that I want to do. One of the things I want to do is make this a little bit more grimy because I think that it's too clean. So to do that, I'm just going to make a plain old fill layer. And I think that if I go to base color and I grab a decent kind of darker noise, maybe. That's not bad. Okay, it works, it's fine. I'm going to change some of the other settings in here though. I was hoping I could change more than I can, so I guess I got to change a different, do something darker. There's a nice grunge small dust contrast up or down, so you know, whatever it was. Inverting it will make it the opposite, so I'm going to put that on there. Then I'm going to throw a mask on there again, because we love to work in masks, so black mask. And then I'm going to take and add a generator to it. What I'm going to do with this generator is you'll see it comes up here, no generator selected. I have to pick a generator. I'm going to pick a dirt generator. And almost immediately, it just digs right into here. The one thing that I kind of guess I shouldn't have done it with this color is that I don't have control over the color as much as I would like. So I can just turn that off, make it, right now it will be white, but if I make it a nice, let's say, red or black, that might be okay. You know what, I kind of like that other one before. Yeah, that's fine. So, you know, you want to turn this reflection down a little bit so it's a little flatter. in there. And then we're going to mess with the generator. So if we come down to this, and then we click on the dirt generator, and we can see a bunch of settings. We can turn off the level a little bit. We can turn the triplanar on or off and see if that works any better. Maybe it's a little too strong, so we can turn that back a little bit. We can go to grunge scale to change the size of that. We can do grunge amount. We can also say, let's see, edge masking. That's fine. It'll change it up for you there. Okay, so now we've got our basic grunge in there. I almost want it darker, but uniform color, we'll change it to black. That shouldn't do much. Micro details. It's really high detail. Okay. Anyway, so I've got something a little bit better. I mean, I may or may not fiddle with that. I would fiddle with this thing actually forever, but I've got something. At least now this stuff's coming through. Let me turn it back off and you can see. See, now it feels a little bit better. I really wonder if I should use a color instead of that. If I put a color, see now there's white. If I take it and I make it a color, like a bronzy color, I'll get more like it's coming from the same thing. And you know, I could even do some dripping stuff if I wanted to. Maybe a little bit darker. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Now I just got to mess up these. So I'm going to move this down a bit because you'll notice it didn't really do much to this. It should have, but it did, actually it was on there. It's just not showing much. Okay, so copper worn. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to look at the worn surface. I'm going to come into the mask, and I'm going to see all my controls. I'm going to turn my texture 1 down. Zoom in on one of these guys. First off, I definitely know that this is the texture it's using, and this metallicity needs to turn down quite a bit. And I need to turn this up a bit so we get a more tarnishy feeling or less shiny. Okay. Next thing I want to do is come in here to that, which I had, and actually I think I changed this one to a darker, so it feels, or less, you know. Now it feels like everything is getting that tinge color, so I'm wondering, no, it's not that. I may need to go back down to the gold and pull it back a little bit that we made for the copper. So I'm going to come to the dirt, and I'm going to mess with that mask, and I'm going to turn the thickness up. There we go. And then maybe pick the color. Will be this darker color. But you get the idea. I mean, I've pretty much laid it out and made this frame without talking. It didn't take me that long. And talking, it took me a little bit longer, and it's still too shiny. I gotta get rid of that shiny. Sorry, I'll talk to myself until I'm blue in the face. So here's one of them, and I'll turn down the metallic, and I'll turn up this. There. And I probably want to make this darker. Yeah. So it feels like there's copper in there, but it's not everywhere. Come back up to here to this worn surface and see what that metallic and roughness are even being done. Maybe the one I messed with. There we go. Take this one, turn it back up. There we go. That's what I want. I want some areas to feel like they're getting the shine, but not the whole thing. It's that subtle thing. And these were just hacked in there. So anyway, if I go back to F10 and look at it in the viewport, I'll have to turn off the cave here. Okay. I think it's too metal. I'd still go back there and play with that. And anyway, you get the idea. So that's working inside of here. Cut this metal base and turn down its shine a bit. There. Yeah. And again, I'm just trying to make this frame here that kind of frame feel. And if we look at it, it's a pretty decent replication for a quick turnaround. And there you go. So now that can hang in your wall. You can put that painting on. You can put it in the environment, and it should look pretty cool. And you get to feel the stuff that we were talking about. If you push that highlights just, or that sharpness, and that if you masked out the speck in just certain areas, it would work well too. So just on the highlight, these things where they're still left over. All right, and that's it. And good luck modeling, all.